I have a theory that people who love church, like really love going to church and feel God in them.
The rest of his video talks about how people who go to church probably just don't go to enough live concerts, so they think that what they're experiencing is very unique. And what I love about this video, even though it's just like a cute observation, that there's not much difference between live concerts and the feelings that you feel when you sing hymns together, is that we're discovering why religion works. And this is where I think atheism as a culture is sometimes lacking, because atheism or skepticism or rationalism will say we have a term for this. It's called collective effervescence, where our brains actually do sync up and we start acting like a group rather than individuals, especially with music. And this is one of the reasons that Plato said that music was too dangerous for the common folk. He argues that you can get infected with music, so the only kind of music that he wanted played for like large parts of society is like regulated music with positive emotions or hero songs, or else it could be dangerous to the state, because he was aware of how we start acting like a group when we sing together. Anyways, that was a side tangent. What I love about secular spirituality is I consider it to be a more worthy project than just pure skepticism, because pure skepticism can just stop at, well, religion is wrong, because we can actually explain with scientific terms everything that's happening here and none of it is magic. And I am great, like that's great. I'm a fan of that, but to me it doesn't go far enough. Secular spirituality is about, yes, all of that is true, but let's understand why prayer and meditation works, what it does to the brain. Let's understand why singing together works. Let's understand why rituals work to help us process emotions. Let's understand why stories are so influential to how we order our lives. Not to just disprove religion, although it will do that, but to separate religion from the underlying tool so that we can use that tool without the superstitious baggage. There's a reason that religions exist. There's a reason we co-evolved with religion. So rather than just throw it away as primitive, secular spirituality to me is all about uncovering the tool and using it intentionally without the superstitious baggage that we've kind of gathered through the centuries that have, all the truth claims that lie on top of that tool. So for me personally, I have rituals I do in my life. I have a contemplative practice. I have stories that I read myself over and over, and stories that I tell to my kids over and over. I find opportunities to sing with people, mostly at Weezer concerts, not at church anymore. I intentionally created a community that wanted to do deep discussions and philosophical discussions and spiritual exploration. I do acts of service. I try and live a moral life based on how the world could be rather than kind of the worst of what it is. I read holy books and I dance with mystics, and I do all of this without God, without religion, without borders. And that's why I try to convince atheists to be on board with secular spirituality, because what I think that some people in atheist kind of culture are missing is that they're missing tools on the table that can help them create a more enjoyable, more meaningful life that they've thrown away because religion has kind of had the monopoly on that tool for so long. So follow me for more no-nonsense spirituality, where we're going to really pull out all of those tools, but I'm never going to have to make you jump through a hoop of belief in order to be able to use a tool that may make your life just easier and better.
So this is the Egyptian Ankh right here, okay? This isn't a symbol of life. This is an actual tool right here. On the left, this is Nikola Tesla's electric oscillator. If you guys don't know who Nikola Tesla is, he's a scientist and the inventor. I'll get more into him in a different time period. Because 30 years before Nikola Tesla was even born, Sturgeon, 1824, reverse engineered the Ankh. They patented and reverse engineered it. All right, you can see the coils at the top right there. That's an electrical coil right there with a north pole and a south pole. It's a magnet. Same reason why this lady's holding the ankh right there with the snake coiling up it, because that's the electrical current or that coil going up the rod right there, and it creates a magnet. Just like this. You see how they magnetized this? They ran the current right through it and it allowed it to pick up metal and move things. This is how they pulled iron from the ground, and this is what pushed us into the Iron Age. Right here again, this is another electromagnet right here. This looks like an electromagnetic scale, because that's the same electromagnet scale that weighs your heart versus a feather. The only way your heart's ever going to be lighter than a feather is through its magnetic field. These beings were using that same energy and through their bodies, through touch, through their hands, and running it up these rods, okay? They were the batteries that powered these rods. You see, they got statues with these beings holding them. These are not symbols. These are tools that they were going around, walking around with, using them to control frequencies and allow them to have control over reality.
How do you spot an evil person? Well, you need to look at their actions, not their intentions. You know when someone does something bad to you and they say, well, I never intended to do that. Don't listen to that, because they did it. That was their action. And you must learn to live by the actions people put out there and that you yourself put out there. If you do screw up and hurt someone you love, well, if you do that maybe once, maybe twice, I mean, you learn from that. But if it's a continued pattern, if you hurt someone over and over and over again, then you must take a look inward at your soul, because there you'll find evil. And that evil must be removed. You must use honesty to go in and get that evil out of your soul to become a benevolent, loving person.
A picture is worth 1,000 words, and a symbol is worth 1,000 pictures. You hear me? That's why the human language, nothing but letters backed by numbers, have an impact on your subconscious and your conscious. Using certain words can change your vibrational frequency, your vibrational field. If you don't know by now that you have a field around your body, then you've been sleeping under a rock. These tones, these frequencies have an effect on your perception, and it can change your perception. It can change your biology. So when you walk into a grocery store, turn around, you look at the ingredients on the food that you're eating, you'll notice there's a lot of words on that ingredient list. If you go do a deep dive on each one of those ingredients, I'm talking about a few hours of study just on one word, you will begin to see what I've been seeing for a very long time, that these are spells, these are ingredients cooked up in a lab. Now, whenever you look at a witch on TV and you see her with her crock pot boiling above a fire, and she's dropping all sorts of ingredients in there, and then she creates a potion, do you think they're doing that for no reason? Do you think that they're just making all this shit up? In reality, that's alchemy, because we are in an energetic universe. Each thing has its own frequency, and when you mix these energies and frequencies together, it creates something else that has its own frequency. So through ancient wisdom and knowledge that was given to certain people, they were able to cook up certain spells. They were able to move things with their words, with technology. That's why the most sacred information is hidden in plain sight and you don't even know what you're looking at. That's why I've been telling people for years, watch your words. Even very successful people that make millions of dollars a year are very sloppy with their words. They might have good business acumen, good business skills. They might have a network of people that make money and they know how to do business and broker deals with these people. But when it comes to just shooting the shit, someone was just knocking at my door. When it comes to shooting the shit, a lot of them are very weak with their words. They're a bunch of crybabies, honestly. And to be honest, most successful people are super insecure, and that's what really drives them to be successful, is because they're very insecure. They need to have some sort of power to feel like they are above someone else because they feel naturally inferior. But I digress. Just start writing down words and look at the anagrams of the words, read the word backwards, read it forwards. These words, even though you're pronouncing them a certain way, have an impact on your psyche and your subconscious. You want to go levels deeper? The ingredients in your food, when they're cooking these things up in a lab, are comprised of a lot of different chemicals, a lot of different extracts. They had to go through a lot to isolate that chemical and call it what it is. All of that time, energy, work, all that research Do you think they're doing this shit for no reason? Why would they do all of this? It doesn't make any sense. Why? Well, people will say, well, for profit. They want to increase the shelf life of the food. They want to make it taste better. Exactly. The word money associated with capital has to do with kaput, chattel, cattle, the head of cattle. That is what capital is. So you're automatically dealing with death. That's why they call corporations corporations. The first word in there is corpse. That's why they call businesses entities, because they're dead. Your name in all caps is an entity. It's dead. And I can just go on all day about this. Everything around you is ritualistic. It's occult. It's symbolic. And if you don't know what you're saying, if you don't know what you're looking at, if you're engaging in certain things that embody certain energies because they're encompassed by certain sigils or symbols, then you, my friend, are a fool.
Martial law misconceptions. Y'all need to pay attention because my comment section is full of misinformation about martial law. First off, the claim that martial law is unconstitutional. Wrong. Article 1, Sections 8 and 9 don't ban martial law. They outline Congress's power to call forth a militia and suspend habeas corpus in times of rebellion or invasion. We just gave it a name. So if you say it's unconstitutional, I'm just going to assume you've never read the Constitution. Second, it would never happen in America. Hate to burst your bubble, but it's happened 68 times in U.S. history. Just look it up. Third, we don't have the manpower. You're forgetting that the vast majority will comply. And those who aren't prepared will comply when the food runs out. And then there's always conscription. That's just reality.
Reading silently to yourself and hearing the voice in your head, reading what you're reading silently to yourself. God, that's a lot of words. Apparently, it's like a mental illness. Yay! At least we know.
Here's how you know somebody has evil tendencies. And this is a simple law that has held throughout history time and time again. It states the most dangerous people never have regrets, only explanations. And what that means is, well, do you ever notice how some people never admit when they're wrong? How they always have a reason, an excuse, a way to twist the situation so they're never at fault? How they act like the victim, even when they're the ones who caused the damage. Now compare that to someone who actually owns their mistakes, someone who doesn't twist the truth to look good, someone who doesn't make excuses, but instead makes things right. One of them is always justifying, the other takes responsibility. And so if you want to know if somebody has evil tendencies, don't focus on how they hurt you. Look at whether or not they justify it.
jumping does not mean jumping out of your body and randomly waking up in another world on another planet. You are staying right where you are, in your body, on this planet. It is the world around you that changes with you. Look at it like this. The wealthy and the poor are living in the same society on the same planet, and still, they are experiencing two completely different worlds at the same time. These different worlds are one, existing at the same time. There are multiple realities available to you at all times. Everything is energy. Everything vibrates. You are not able to see those frequencies, but your mind has the ability to pick up on those frequencies. That is why you can think of your desired reality. It is already existing in another dimension. These dimensions are coexisting at the same time.
Something feels off, doesn't it? You're exhausted, maybe even struggling to focus, and no matter how much sleep you get, it never seems to be enough. It's like you're moving through life in slow motion. Physically here, but mentally and energetically somewhere else. But here's the truth, this isn't just you. All around the world, people are reporting the same thing. Unexplained fatigue, emotional ups and downs, a sense that something bigger is happening, but they can't quite put their finger on it. And that's because something is happening. Right now, we are in the middle of a massive energetic recalibration. The frequency of the Earth is shifting, the collective vibration is rising, and whether you realize it or not, your body is trying to adjust. Have you felt it? The random waves of exhaustion that hit out of nowhere, the sudden desire to withdraw, rest, or be alone. Maybe even strange dreams, or an overwhelming sense that something is about to change. This is not a coincidence. Your energy field is being stretched and expanded. Old stagnant energies are being cleared away, and new, higher frequencies are trying to integrate into your system. This shift isn't just happening outside of you, it's happening within you. And your body, your mind, and your spirit are all feeling the effects. But here's the thing, this kind of energetic shift isn't always comfortable. It's not just an emotional adjustment, it's a physical one. And when your body is processing these changes, it can leave you feeling completely drained. So if you've been wondering why you feel so off, so tired, so disconnected lately, this is your answer. It's not just stress, it's not just lack of sleep. It's the energy shift, and it's affecting you more than you realize.
Well, it seems like today someone has finally made their way down the shafts that were found under the pyramids in Egypt. Clutch your pearls, girls, because now you're telling me that as of today, Dr. and archaeologist Rami, I'm not even going to try to say his last name because I don't want to be disrespectful to the Egyptian culture, is the first human being to make his way to the bottom of the shafts underneath the pyramid and has reported back what he found in the chamber at the bottom. And it is mind-blowing. Now, like always, take what you will, leave what you won't. I have purposely not talked about this topic yet because I like to have my facts backed. But as of today, allegedly, archaeologist Rami, I'm not going to try the name again, has made his way to the bottom, and what he found there was perfect blue like water chambers, I guess is what I'm referring to them as, with the most beautiful blue color water that he's ever seen in his life, with preserved humanoid body-like creatures in the water with as he describes, the most crystal clear blue color in their eyes that he has ever seen. Now, once again, anything we talk about is for conversation, learning, entertainment purposes only. But have you heard this? Because I've now read 10 different reports and seen multiple videos all over social media, all over the different forums, and they're all claiming the exact same thing. So tell me, have you heard this? Because this is going to shake up history and the truth of our world. So let's have this conversation today, because I want to know if more people know about this. So drop it in the comments.